Cips clip.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the InfoWars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Cips clips.
Alrighty, boob tubes. A mic check, a 1, 2, a 1, 2. And happy weekend, everybody. Scotland are playing Italy. Woohoo! Anyway, hopefully you all have a good weekend and whatnot. As always, 1 o'clock, Monday to Friday. Wag the dog news. We are take examples for both sides of the shit show, the information war, and compare their version of events that day. Which, for truth-telling journalists, they never seem to be singing from the same hymn sheet, which is weird. Extremely weird and strange and weird and strange and strange and weird. But anyways. So, if you are going to watch this, make sure you thumbs it up. It's much appreciated. It does help me sleep at night. And thanks to everybody that did yesterday's show. I enjoyed that. Doing the old Machiavelli stuff and the old wee crying Kuwaiti girl and stuff. Blast for the pasts. Loved it. So, today, mix it up a little. Because it's the weekend, I'm going to do Great British News. Sorry, I mean UKIP news. Sorry, I mean Nigel Farage news. It is basically Nigel Farage's UKIP's clique money that run this channel. So we will be having a wee look at that shit, what happened there. Ah, voila! Let's have a look at Eamon. I mean, who doesn't love old Eamon Holmes?
And we hope you can join us for
Breakfast with Eamon.
And Isabel.
You make me laugh out loud, belly laugh.
Is that important first thing in the morning?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's me trying to be deadly serious. News is a serious business.
Yeah, I have to rein you in.
She's
sometimes.
flirting
Well, it
with
doesn't
him.
stop us
What
laughing
would
at it. It
Drift
doesn't
say,
stop us
Eamon?
having an opinion
What would
on
Drift
what's
say?
going on.
Yeah.
And it certainly will not stop us reflecting what you think.
Weekdays from 6 to 9:30 on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9
Oh, this is the funniest. Right, now remember, this is Great Britain News. This is like the Brexit channel. This is like Nigel Farage has got a show on this channel. And then this guy bounces up and says this.
to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship.
No spin, no bias. Mate, you're coming for the actual UKIP fucking channel? I'm surprised Neil Hamilton's no get a fucking gig yet on that channel, man. Fuck's sake.
And no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton Tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Yeah. No biased. Coming straight from you, from UKIP News.
It's 1 o'clock and welcome to On the Money, where we're focused not just on this military war between Russia and Ukraine, but also on the economic conflict between Russia and the West. Today we've got a 2-hour On the Money double bill for you. In this hour, 1 till 2, we're looking at energy security, as the government considers lifting the ban on controversial techniques
the 1
for
o'clock
extracting
news,
UK
dickheads?
shale gas. We ask the question, is UK fracking back? And from 2 p.m, it's an On the Money special.
Oh, I like that one. Put it
examine the broader implications of this East-West economic conflict
like
on you
it, my
and your
man.
family. On the
I
Money
bet
with
you
me,
away
Liam
for the
Harrigan,
camera, you
after
might
the
say
GB
fuck
News
cunt and
headlines
bugger.
with Rhiannon Jones.
Thank you, Liam. It's 1 minute past 1. Your top stories from the GB newsroom. President Zelensky says Ukraine has reached
Nigel
a
Farage
strategic turning
says
point in its war with
he
Russia,
loves
but has
bananas.
warned it isn't possible to say how long fighting will continue. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin says there's been some progress made in Moscow's talks with Ukraine. The comments come from his meeting with his Belarusian counterpart Alexander Lukashenko.
Chemical weapons.
Ukraine's state energy provider says nearly 1 million people are without power and more than 220,000 are without gas in freezing conditions in the wake of the invasion.
Hello, Bono. Yeah, I'm phoning you. People told me to cue you, but I'm just going to phone you. Yeah. I know, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's almost as if there's some sort of a like PR fucking war going on, and each side has an incentive to paint themselves as the victim. I know. Fucked up, man. I don't know who to believe. Both sides are completely full of shit, Bono. Anyway, rock on, man, rock on. Right, catch you, Bono. Good, Bono.
The UK's Defence Ministry says Russia's likely to reset its forces for a new offensive. That's after satellite pictures appear to show its tanks convoy outside Kiev dispersing. In Dnipro, footage released by Ukraine shows the aftermath of an airstrike at what appears to be the site of a shoe factory. Russian news agencies say their troops have taken out 2 military airfields in the cities of Lutsk and Ivano-Frankivsk.
What appears to be a shoe factory. After the fact, somebody come along, start spreading some shoes. Right, hold on, this is Vladimir Putin on the Friday morning. Yeah, hello, Sergey. Yes, yeah, I had fun yesterday blowing up the maternity ward. Yes. I told you it came to me in a dream. I thought it was a good idea. Turned out to be a brilliant idea. I killed women and children and pregnant women. What's there not to love? Yes, what came to me last night? Shoe factory, yes! I was thinking, what's the best way to punish the Ukrainians? And I thought, everybody needs shoes. So, this morning, Sergey, I want you to go and bomb the shoe factory. Yes, yes, it makes perfect military sense. And don't ask the generals, don't ask anybody in the military. Just go and bomb. Yes, no, but we won't kill any pregnant woman. Not this morning. But that's off my despot bucket list. But what's on my despot bucket list is bomb a shoe factory. I've not done that yet. It should be fun. Okay, thank you. Phone me when it's done, Sergey. No, I don't know about you. Is that like I can perfectly believe that. I'm down with that narrative.
They also claim Russian-backed separatists have captured the city of Volnovaka, the northern gateway to Mariupol. In Kharkiv, people are sheltering in metro stations as the city comes under relentless
Kirks. I think more and 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 more. When you think about it, it's logic. And what I was going to say there, because I need to finish my sentence, is it's becoming harder for the powers that shouldn't be to control the narrative. And it's a simple fact of this bukkake of media. You know, dickheads like me being able to fucking turn on a fucking webcam and go, hey, I'm a reporter. I used to buy that bull crap, man. Still people out there that think they are fucking citizen journalists and that. Bouncing about with their phones, sticking it in fucking people's faces to fucking agitate them. Doesn't sit well with me. But anyway, and I used to do it. I used to be right up for that shit. But everybody's a smart arse now.
bombardment. The governor says residential areas have been shelled 89 times in one day. The mayor says 48 schools have been destroyed. Meanwhile, the head of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, has called for Russia to cease fire to allow civilians to get out of besieged cities.
The bare minimum is to stop.
Yes, I want my enemies to stop using the weapons that hurt people. Okay? I mean, you're using bombs that explode and hurt people. What kind of barbarians do this? Currently right now, particularly British weapons are getting used by Saudi Arabia to slaughter all sorts of fucking people randomly. Not a word. And if I go down my supermarket, I can still get all my Yemeni shit. Oh no, hold on. My Saudi Arabian shit. I can still buy all the sand I want. Don't really want sand. That's all I've got to fucking export. Sand and fucking oil. And little wee gay guys that look like women. And get pumped and no questions asked and mad Arab harems. So it's true. It's true!
Establish humanitarian corridors where people can get out and humanitarian aid can get in. Any attack. See the way that the refugees of Ukraine are getting treated compared to the fucking brown people in boats. It is fucking mental. I cannot believe this. All your far right people that hate your brown people in boats are all like, hey, open up your house. Wee little Hitler, aka Nicola Sturgeon. She's telling people to fucking up here to open their houses up to fucking random Ukrainians. You know, like, I don't know the percentage, right? But they're probably worse than Scotland when it comes to fucking people abusing alcohol. And if you've ever met an East European fucking full of vodka, man, especially the dudes, but the women as well. Women are fucking scatty, man. Mentalists. The majority, the ones that I've met. Oh, man. Anyway. Okay, like. It's gonna be funny when you come over here, man. Stop demanding all sorts of shit, man. Oh, man. It's unbelievable. She's like pure, like, and this racism is like fucking so prevalent and everywhere for the politicians, the way they are treating them. Oh, we need to get rid of visas. Welcome them in, get the red carpet out, give them 10 grand. Well, open your houses. Fucking brown people in boats fucking don't even get fucking the red carpet treatment off of the extreme left.
On
let's listen to this fucking mushroom fucking picking hurdy-gurdy, man.
civilians is violation of international law, is a war crime.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
Is going to ask.
That's almost, you might as well just start calling him a Nazi again, man, as much traction as you're going to get with that war crime fucking shit. War crime. Shooting fucking, getting a helicopter gunship to shoot fucking journalists that might be investigating shit that you're not fucking 100% fucking happy about. Get them to gun them down fucking ASAP. With a big massive fucking cannon on the Apache fucking gunship. Film it. And then try and bury that film. And then act shocked. And prosecute the person that leaks that film. Even though he was a Uber spy. Julian Assange. Change the world, man. Anyway, let's listen to this push.
Brits to open their homes to refugees fleeing the conflict. The Levelling Up Secretary Michael Gove will unveil details of a sponsored route on Monday. It'll allow Ukrainians without family ties here to come to the UK. Those offering free accommodation will be vetted to ensure it's safe for the refugees. It follows criticism the UK's been slow to help some of the 2.5
Have you ever been caught fucking little girls? No, never been caught. I always get away with it. Okay, you're good.
The Russian Duma for their support for the Ukrainian breakaway regions of Luhansk and Donetsk. It's after Chelsea owner Roman Abramovich was sanctioned by the government over his links to Russian President Putin. British property developer Nick Candy is still interested in making a bid for the football club and is examining the details of the sanctions.
French ministry report.
The High Court has ruled that the Met Police breached
Richard,
the
I'm
rights
not
of the
I'm not
organisers
saying
of a
that
vigil
isn't
for
and
Sarah
within the
Everard
realms
by
of
not allowing the
possibility of
event to
happening
go
and stuff.
ahead.
But you just need to be
Members of
very,
Reclaim the
very,
Streets
very, very
cancelled their
careful
plans
and
in March
be
last
aware
year
that
after being told they'd
Russia
be fined
can play
£10,000
wag the
each
dog
for breaking coronavirus rules.
just as
The
easy
policing of a
as the other
spontaneous
side.
vigil that
In
took
fact, they
place
do it all the
instead
time
was
with all the
widely
fucking
criticised.
fakes and all that do the
And
rounds
COVID
in the
infections
conspiracy
have gone up in
world.
all 4 nations of the UK.
And
That's according
because
to new
it
figures
fits
from the
with
Office for
people's
National
worldview
Statistics.
or whatever, if
There
that
are
makes
record
sense.
levels of the virus in
People
Scotland,
gobble
with
it
1
up
in
like nobody's
18
business.
people likely to have
When
had it last week. Over
it can
2
be as
million
much
people in England are
bull
thought to
crap
have
as
had
the
COVID in the
West
same period.
stuff.
In Wales, 1 in 30, and in Northern Ireland, it's 1 in 17. Ministers in Northern Ireland are delivering a long-awaited apology to the victims and survivors of historical institutional sexual abuse. The Commissioner for Victims and Survivors
If you do strip this away,
Ryan
there is
called
obviously
for
a
minute
monetary
silence
angle.
for
Now,
victims who
the
died
deals that
before the
Biden's son
apology
done with
was
Ukraine
delivered.
after
Ministers from each
2014
party in the
are
Northern
an
Ireland
obvious
executive
sign,
are due
or
to
one
speak,
sign.
as are
But how
representatives
this
from
whole
6
thing kicked
institutions
off.
that ran
Now,
facilities where the abuse
was it Yanukovych? I might be misspeaking,
more as it happens now.
but the
Let's return to Liam
president,
and
president of Ukraine pre-2014, he was more pro-Russia than he was pro-EU, but he was kind of playing both sides off each other to
the
get
government could
a
soon
lot
be
of shit
lifting
from
the
both
ban on
sides.
controversial
Sensible
techniques for
man.
extracting UK shale gas, known as
Then,
fracking.
because he decided to
Reviled by
gear the economy
environmental
towards the Russian
campaigners,
Federation
fracking
rather
could
than the
unlock huge
European
amounts of
Union,
domestic energy, say its supporters.
all the
helping
standards
keep
and all
UK
that, so they
fuel
can
bills
trade
low.
more easily.
Could and should fracking be allowed in
legally
Britain?
and whatnot.
We host a detailed discussion.
That's when
And
the
what's happening
West
to UK petrol prices as we
fermented
hurtle
that
towards
coup
and beyond £2 a litre?
by
Crikey!
using
We report
snipers
from across the
and
country.
trains.
Plus, each day on The Money features
protesters.
an in-depth Money Talks interview. Today we're talking to
To take
Craig
over.
Phillips.
Anyway,
he's the
don't
guy who
know
won
shit.
the original Big Brother episode back in the year 2000. Was it really that long ago?
2000,
Well, Craig is
no
still
way.
a builder, and he'll be here
I
to talk
love
about how to get compensation when you're injured at work. That's
Big
later in the
Brother,
show.
man.
And as ever, I want your questions, opinions, ideas. Email
Oh, Big Brother
gbnews
back
at
in the day.
gbnews.uk or tweet at gbnews. I'll read out some of your emails later in the show, so stay with us. This is GB News on TV and DAB plus digital radio I'm Liam Halligan.
Next time I do GB News, I'll need to do when it's actual news and not some sort of a fucking money push.
Now, Boris Johnson this week described Russia's invasion of Ukraine as, quotes, a moment of great clarity. The Prime Minister's now all too aware of the dangers of West European countries' heavy reliance on Russian oil and gas. As petrol and diesel costs spiral, with utility bills also set to spike, the UK's long-term energy security, usually a subject for academics and other nerdy types, is now at the top of the domestic political agenda. We need
Right, I know there's an explanation for this that's way above, probably somebody knows that I don't. But in my simplistic nut, the UK is a ball hair away from being self-sufficient due to the North Sea fields and whatnot. And yet, we seem to be suffering worse, if not just as bad, as everywhere else when it comes to the price fixation. So, although we do it in our backyard, it's done with private companies, so we still need to buy it off the private independent market. So even though it's our oil, we need to buy it back off the companies that we allow to fucking dig it out the fucking ground, and we need to pay the price that somebody 3/4 of the way around the world is paying. We don't get any fucking let up in the price. Is that the script? Am I in the general ballpark? That's fucked up. We're getting screwed. Fuck's sake, man. See, when it comes down to this shit, man, I'm fucking... I've said this before, man. When I was younger, man, I was like a pure commie. I was like, what the fuck's this? Why is there people profiting off of fucking shit that there is no competition? There is only one... You can't get good oil and bad oil. It's either oil or fucking not oil coming out the ground. You can't get fucking good gas and bad gas. You can't get good electricity, bad electricity. You can't get good and bad water, but you get the premise. It's all coming from this fucking same place. And somehow, some way, they've managed to fucking creep fucking like private entities making fucking fat motherfuckers in suits sitting probably not even staying in this country fucking most of the fucking time, making a fortune off of owning the fucking stock that owns the shit that we should own, and any profit should be going back into the infrastructure and not into fucking fat motherfuckers' private yachts and pockets. So that kind of shit does make me a bit of a commie, but again, in the UK is an example of this, and I don't know why people don't point this out more. The UK is an absolute complete melt of socialism and capitalism. Right, well, on the surface, right, I'm not going to fucking, I'll be here all day ranting. On the surface, it's a melt of socialism and capitalism. It always has been. Although nowadays, with the privatisation of a lot of the services and stuff, if not all of them, the NHS seems to be the only one that seems to escape that PR campaign to allow the citizens to allow private motherfuckers to come in and fill their pockets over shit that we need. I mean, like, what's the point of a government if they don't supply you with water and electricity? But they don't. They supply companies the ground. What's the word I'm looking for? The ground foundations or whatever, so that they can supply you with water and electricity. But of course, the government's going to tax you. So you need to pay the government so that they can set up the groundwork for companies to move in and charge you for the shit that you should own, that we should all own as a country. Anyway, fuck, I digress. That's obviously like,
alternative sources of energy. A UK government source
Spock
tells me
logic
that are cheaper, more reliable, and less vulnerable to the whims of a dictator. Well, those alternative energy sources could now well include
all the
UK
Trump
shale
loving
gas,
far right
extracted using
Brexit
a controversial
lovers
drilling technique
are
called fracking. Shale
right
wells
on
like the
board
one in
with this
Lancashire have been
anti-Russia
developed on
Putin shit.
various sites across the UK.
Right on board.
But since November, fracking has been banned after Johnson's government imposed a moratorium. Ministers implemented this ban under pressure from environmental campaigners. Fracking involves pumping water and chemicals into tight underground rock formations under huge pressure. Protesters claim that fracking causes serious earth tremors and threatens local water supplies.
Hello,
Fracking
Bono.
enthusiasts
Hello,
deny
Bono.
that,
Yep.
and they point to what they call an anti-fracking
right, so
campaign
maybe there's
backed
very,
by
very
a
smart
well-funded
people that sort of
environmental
predict the
lobby. And as it
outcome and the
happens,
lay
the
of the
Royal Academy
land
of
after
Engineering and
these
the Royal
events and
Society
stuff,
just
and
reviewed the
predict
scientific and
what they can
engineering
take advantage
advice,
of and
evidence
what
on shale
agendas
gas.
they can
And
push
this is
and
what
stuff.
they said.
Not saying that they
Risks
caused
of
the
fracking could
events
be
that then
managed
they take
effectively
advantage
in the
of, but
UK,
they see the events coming, or when they come, they then plan for the future.
So given this Russia-Ukraine conflict
Bono,
and the related East-West economic war,
predictable
could fracking
outcomes
once again be
from this
permitted?
current crisis.
As it happens, some UK fracking wells were due to be filled with concrete
fracking's
in the
going
very
to
near
happen,
future.
and
Business
nuclear's
Secretary
going to, a
Kwasi
lot more
Kwarteng was
nuclear
asked about
power
this in the
stations are
Commons
going to
this
get
week,
built.
and this is what he said. In
But don't worry, it's
conversation
going to
with
be
my
like
right
clean
honourable friend,
coal.
the Prime
This is going to be
Minister,
like
we were
clean
clear it didn't
nuclear
necessarily make
2.0.
any sense to concrete
It's
over
going
the
to be
wells.
all good,
We're
Bono.
still
Don't
in
you worry.
conversations about that.
You just
This
chill your
Russia-Ukraine
fucking
conflict
still in your
clearly is a
fucking
moment
hemp
of great
fucking
clarity
boxer
for all
shorts,
of
man.
us. Not least when it
And
comes
what
to the
else?
astonishing mess
Yep,
successive
fracking's
governments
going to
have made,
happen over
prioritising
here and
environmental
everywhere
virtue
else as
signalling,
well,
some
man.
would
Make it
say,
all over fucking
above
Europe
energy
to get it
security
around
at
Russia.
every turn, instead of ensuring
And America's
that the
onto a
lights
winner.
actually stay on.
Aye, because they've got enough.
North
They've
Sea
got
oil
enough
and
shale
gas,
gas
British
to
nuclear
frack the
energy
fuck
are all
out of their
set now
fucking
to make a
their
big
country
comeback.
for long enough now
Will
that they
shale
can
gas
export
also
that
be
shit.
part of the UK's energy mix as it
right.
is in the United States?
Right, Bono.
And that's our on the money
Right, see you
question
later,
today.
Bono.
As our
Right,
energy
rock on,
security
man.
comes into sharp focus.
All right, Shug,
Is
how you doing, my
UK
man?
fracking back? A whole host
How
of
did
guests
you-
today for, as ever on the money, grown-up discussions with people who really know their...
I don't want grown-up discussions. Fuck off.
We got pro-fracking campaigner Lorraine Allenson in the studio. Charles McAllister, a fracking expert and policy manager at UK Onshore.
Oh, this will be
Oil and
interesting.
Gas. Charles, you're welcome.
Shug, how did your coupons come in last night? I ended up fucking all my coupons.
Money blog owner, great to have you with us.
Cashed out with a couple of quid there, then went into the in-play shit and fucked my
Do you
couple of quid.
suspect that the UK fracking ban could be lifted? Do you fear that?
Well, it's quite extraordinary that this is a conversation we're having in the week that the International Panel on Climate Change announced its report, where the UN General Secretary said we're facing a criminal failure in leadership to not cut our carbon emissions. We're supposed to be cutting them by 45% by 2030 to have any chance of net zero 2050. And they're soaring by 14%. So what we're actually facing, according to UN, is the window for a livable planet, quote unquote, is fast closing. Even the fossil fuel addicted Prime Minister of Australia stated that Australia is becoming a more unlivable country due to climate change. So that's the context.
Oh, do you know what? I do need to bring this up. The British reactor wasn't at all funded by the bankers in the early days. Now, I didn't really want to touch on that in particular, but it reminded me of something that Jeremy Corduroy Corbyn brought up. And I think he was still the leader of the Labour Party at the time, man. And he brought up the fact that very early on, 1933, I believe it was, that rings a bell in my head, but I may stand corrected. that Hitler was working with the Zionist Party, aka Jewish people of Germany, the Jewish Party of Germany. That was now I might stand corrected, but if my memory serves, that was when they were talking about shipping the Jews out to Ethiopia and all that. You know, that was when Ethiopia was getting discussed as being their homeland. Before they decided on Palestine, you know, returning them with the old Judonia. The reason I bring that up is because recently I heard the assumption that because President President play the piano with his dick, can't even remember his name, Zavindad, I don't know. His first name's Voldemort or something, man. He's like a fucking pure bad guy for Lord of the Rings, man. Anyway, whatever Voldemort, fucking... he happens to be Jewish. And the fact that there are neo-Nazi elements within... it's a small minority. Small minority. But what they've done is they've managed to grab a hell of a lot of power within the structure of the army through being the craziest mofo, being the most local on the block, and threatening motherfuckers. By all accounts, threatened the president and all that when he tried to get rid of them and shit like that. All sorts of bizarreness. Again, you don't know whether these accounts are real or fake, but what is real is there is a neo-Nazi battalion that's been documented by the BBC, ITV, all sorts of mainstream Western press when it suited them. BBC Alba. Hey, you get some good Scottish football on that. Anyway, let's watch the rest of this shit.
Conversation about it's quite.
All right, aye. So like the fact that Corbyn was like they couldn't say it was they couldn't call him a liar because what he said was factually true. It just sticks in people's. It just makes people's heads go somehow, some way by pointing out Hitler worked with the Zionist Party of Germany prior to the election in 1933. It short circuits people's nuts. Short circuits people's nuts. Just like there'd been a Jew president and they're existing within the structure of the Ukrainian armed forces, a fucking battalion of skinhead, neo-Nazi, vodka drinking fucking East European idiots. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to this leprechaun.
Extraordinary to me that we're not talking about how do we make Britain an energy efficient, renewably powered economy using our own sources of renewable energy to power our economy and lead the world. Is that not the centre of the conversation today?
You let us to the end of your fucking rainbow, mate, with your pot of gold, and we'll harness the power of the pot of gold.
On fossil fuels,
and we'll make it a power station, a leprechaun station.
Before we move on
leprechaun
to Lorraine
power station.
For a counter view. To what extent, you've done a huge amount of research in this area, to what extent do you think that the Royal Societies I mentioned are correct or misguided in their verdict that fracking could be safe as long as it's properly regulated? Do you agree with that, or do you think that's overstated?
There's a number of points.
The quote, the report
I
think we should frack the fuck out the place.
That's when the Royal Academy.
I think it'd be cool to have a few earthquakes and shit, man. Have you not seen the earthquake disaster films? They look cool as fuck. So we could all be like Tom Cruise, bouncing on buildings, blowing up and shit, man. Be well cool. And then some of the dumps, because you know the dumps are going to fall down first. And we can fucking renovate the dumps. Be like the Great Fire of London all over again, man. It'll be that big clearance.
But the overriding point
Just frack next to all the slums. That's what I say.
Up every single one of the 4,000
slum fracking
sites and drills that they're proposing in the fracking community, we would not bring down UK bills by a single cent. Because we're a part of the global economy.
I think all these motherfuckers should go and stay in mud huts with no electricity.
Network, and it goes to where the price is high.
The rest of us would be alright, we're going to need frack.
Investing £33 billion in a new fossil fracking.
Start harnessing your farts.
Could be invested in
cooking,
renewables
cooking on your fart juice. Cooking on your farts.
It could take £5 billion to insulate every roof in Britain over the next 5 years.
Stoves run by farts.
That's
the most. That's like carbon. That's as carbon neutral as you can get, man. You're burning that shit.
Lorraine Allison, we need to insulate our homes,
the badness,
not frack.
So
you
no longer feel guilty for farting.
Insulate our homes, but I certainly think we should be fracking as well. I mean, it's always.
Is it cold in your house, Hen, or are you just getting old and get a wrinkly neck and try to hide it?
They're inefficient. They don't work.
Women always do that, man. It's always a sign of pure insecurity about their wrinkly old neck.
And they need backup. And the answer that
almost as bad as them wearing gloves.
Build more renewables. Well, the more you build, the more gas you need
their hands giving away their age.
Gas is perfect. It swings in when they drop out. I mean, last July, the wind was in a lull the whole month. It only produced 10% of its capacity. This January, when we most need solar, it only produced 4% of its capacity. They're very unreliable. You can't predict what they're going to do, so you need gas. And what we're doing, instead of developing our own gas, is importing it from places like Qatar, some from Russia, but also from America, which is fracked gas. It's utter lunacy. This is a treasure trove under our feet. And I find that the rich elite Greens snub their nose at the north of England that's sitting on a wealth of gas that needs to be explored and extracted. And you say about the wells having a stay of relief from being cemented up. They're not actually. They've still got to be cemented by the 30th of June. That has to be stopped. We need to be
so there's no cemented up yet? I was talking about
enormous benefits for our country. We're bust as a country, and all they wanted to do is stick whirligigs and solar panels all over our countryside. It's just ridiculous.
Lorraine, we're carrying on this discussion after the break. We'll come back to Donica McCarthy in a moment. Let's turn to Charles McAllister. You're from UK Oil and
Hunters
Gas.
on nuclear power stations all in London. We just hunt a big long cable coming up into Scotland.
I would say we're definitely seeing a shift in the wind.
I think that's
my
my
arguments haven't
proposal.
changed in 10 years. It's the conditions
Because the English are better at running them than we
more
are.
applicable to today's world. I think
so you have all the power stations, put them all in London, especially the area where they can't speak proper English anymore, or like any form of English. It's some sort of a pigeon fucking.
This week's prices. It hit about 540.
How about the dangers?
It's worse than Ali G nowadays, some of them.
There's a lot of research. Aren't there dangers?
Well, let's look at the size
put
of
power stations, nuclear power stations, all next to the place where they all kiss their teeth
for
some reason.
So it was the.
I don't know why they like their teeth so badly.
Done on the PNR1
so badly, you kiss them.
The largest event in that well was a 1.5 ml, which is the equivalent of dropping a honeydew melon on the ground. Even if we look at the larger event, the 2.9, on which the moratorium was not based, because the report into that only came out 11 months after, so it was science after policy, really. Even if we look at that one, the surface vibration from that event is half what is permitted at construction sites. So, I mean, I see it as textbook naked hypocrisy in regulation by the government.
Iona, you're not a policy, well, you're a policy specialist, you're not an energy specialist with all respect, but I know you take an active interest in these things.
There's people with unlimited bags of cash.
You've heard divergent views. What's your take as a sort of voter, concerned citizen who wants to keep the lights on?
A clear I think it's really interesting hearing about what the reasons were. This is a geopolitical football, not a genuine debate about the environment. My understanding is it was also due to politics at that time. Unless you genuinely have the PhDs and the education to understand the science behind this, you're fucked.
There are
and if you rely on people on YouTube regurgitating shit that other people have regurgitated from other people that have regurgitated, and you're fucked as well, because this is there's so many people out there with unlimited cash with a dog in the fight either way with this.
Putting that to one side, I think the question now is, are those environmental
spoke about this the other night, the first place that you ever seen anti-fracking footage. Now for me, and I believe this to be the same for a lot of people, it was an RT America,
none of us would deny that is the future,
and then propagated on the other RT networks.
And whether we can
and it was the people
gas. And suddenly energy security, it's the sort of thing you talk about in senior common rooms or when defence chiefs get together. Suddenly it's mainstream politics, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think it is also incredibly important for the fabric of our democracy and our society, and to ensure that we do have that kind of stability.
We could burn the
home.
MPs as fuel,
mate. Back into the spotlight again.
It certainly has. We'll carry on this discussion after the break with my guest. This is On the Money with me, Liam Halligan. Is UK fracking back? That's what we're asking. You're on the money.
We've got a big Saturday for you on GB News. From 6 a.m.
GB News is usually a wee bit better than this
At 10, join Esther and Philip for the Saturday Select.
There's a bunch of people for the city fucking had a lunchtime.
The roofs were hanging off, and grabbed my daughter and just take her outside.
I mean, I was gone from this world for 5 minutes until they got my heartbeat back.
Creating mini stars inside reactors like this is one of the
mini stars. Oh, it's
Today
the Romulan.
At 1, Russia expands its attacks here in Ukraine. 3 more cities are targeted.
Oh my God.
For the first time,
I thought they were losing.
The city of Dnipro was hit. Officials say a shoe factory and kindergarten was struck.
I mean, I'm as confused, right? Are the UK population, are the children in the UK dying from starvation or obesity? Because you'll see charities claiming for both, and I would argue both ain't possible. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe there's anorexics and just big fat cunts out there. Who knows? But I'm confused. Are Russia getting held in a quagmire? Are they getting beat? Are they getting held up? Are they getting more resistance than they thought? Or are they expanding into other cities and stuff? What the fuck? Talk about mixed messaging. Like, do you know why you're getting mixed messaging? Because they're just talking shite.
Russia says it hit military airfields, including in the
the Romulan shug, you know it, mate.
Ukraine says the attack killed 2. As Moscow accuses Ukraine of developing biological weapons, Ukraine issues a strong denial.
Too late. Well, hold on, right? The devil's in the detail as always, right? So, what has been admitted to by, I think it was it Victoria Nuland again? Came out and getting asked by Rubio, I believe. And she admitted there was biolabs. Right? Now, they're denying biological weapons, but they've said there's biolabs. Now, what's the difference between a biological weapons factory and a biolab? I don't know. I really don't. I'm asking the question. But I'm going to guess not much. Because a biolab for whatever purported purposes, can have X, Y, or Z, and all you need to do is take X, Y, or Z and shove it in the fucking head of a missile. That's all you need to do. So, whether there's actual missiles and stuff in these biolabs or not, it wouldn't take much to take X, Y, or Z from the biolabs, transport it to the missile factories which they've got, and you don't need to put this on a sophisticated missile. You can put it in any old fucking thing. All you do is need a missile that goes boom to spread that shit. That's how easy it is. So, again, the devil's in the detail. And the fact that these motherfuckers are up there like that, as if they've been caught with their hand in a cookie jar, like, I wasn't eating the cookies. I was just looking at the cookies to make sure all the cookies were there, and there was counting the cookies, and I counted the cookies, and there was 12 there, and I'm going to count the cookies again, and I'm going to count them every hour to make sure the cookies don't go anywhere. And I wasn't eating the cookies. And you know I wasn't eating the cookies. You know I wasn't eating the cookies. That's what I hear for this cunt. And remember, man, this guy's fully fucking ninja skilled in the art of fucking deception. This guy can make you pee your pants, and fucking, he can act, and he can cha-cha-cha, and he can play the piano with his dick. This guy's multi-talented. Is he all singing, all dancing Jew, man? Ding, 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 oh, man. I thought Boris Johnson was good when he done that fucking death slide thing, waving the flag and getting stuck. I thought Boris Johnson was down with the kids doing that shit. This motherfucker plays the piano with his fucking dick.
This makes me really worried.
That's him reciting poetry to his girlfriend. Such a romantic language. I don't know, those East Europeans, man, they know how to really just send you off to sleep with their lovely, lovely soft tones.
Convinced, if you want to know Russia's plans, look at what Russia accuses others of doing.
And the other main stories in the programme this lunchtime. Damning criticism from MPs of the government's programme to help pupils catch up on lost lesson time during the pandemic.
Disadvantaged children are between 5 to 8 months behind in maths and English, and we are damaging their life chances if we don't get this catch-up programme right.
Apology to thousands of victims.
Well, you know, Shug, you know Hypno Man is going to be on the day. He's the latest spook reporter.
And coming up on the BBC News channel, Thomas...
Was it 3 or 4 goals they get chopped off, man? Every one of them, right? But ball here, right, man? Without VAR, some of those would have been allowed, mate. They were so tight. And the first penalty, man, that was the fucking penalty.
To the BBC's
Peace,
news at one from
Romulan.
Lviv in Ukraine, where Russian forces are appearing to be widening their assault on the country on this day 16 of the war. So what is the state of the Russian advance? Well, here is the latest data.
Russian advance? I thought they were getting bogged down and beaten and getting fought in the streets, fought in the trees, fought in the swimming pools. We will fight them on the rooftops with our ladders. We will fight them in the vodka distilleries. We will fight them in the Babalenka dolls. I thought Ukraine was winning, man. What's the fuck? Is the Foreign Legion out there no fucking taking over? What the fuck's going on here, man? He's telling us with one hand that Russia's getting a doing, and then the other hand you're telling us Russia's advancing. Look how bad they are. Their bullets are hurting people. Look, they're having a war. They're taking over territory. They're invading, like they said. And they're killing people. No way. Where's the little My Little Ponies shitting and spewing out the rainbows?
Showing the positions of Russian forces getting ever closer to the capital, Kyiv. Overnight strikes took place at military
Aye, mate,
airfields in Lutsk
the
and
ref was
Ivano-Frankivsk
definitely a
and
Rangers
on the
man.
city of
That is for
Dnipro.
sure.
The UK's Ministry of Defence says that Russian forces are making...
See the thing is, mate, there was no hesitation as well. They were all like the ball-hair decisions, man. They could have went either way, man. Even with VAR. And there was no hesitation. They were called for like that. And it was like the penalty as well, man. Rangers were getting on with the game. Fucking just keep going on about it, man. The referee's like, call back. Penalty! Yes, nice, man. We'll be having that. Let's hope we get the same referee for the second leg, mate. It's going to be a hard game over there, man, but hopefully 3-0's enough.
But they would go for a renewed offensive soon, while a Russian defence minister insisted its military operation was going to plan. But in the last half an hour, President Zelensky has said that Ukraine is on its way to victory, but time and patience.
Yes, we're on the way to victory. Please send us an Air Force. Please, we need, look, there's dead bodies. Believe it or not, the Russian army are killing people. I don't know how. Please send us shit. Send us anything, everything. I'm not leaving Kiev, but send us an Air Force. Start World War III, but we're winning. Hold on. This reminds me. This reminds me of a thumbnail that I done. I won't look for it. Maybe no, I won't, because it'll be there for ages. And it was David Brent, and it was Tommy Robinson when he was doing his wee counselling campaign. He was running for, was it Parliament or was it Council? I think it was like he was running to become a councillor. I do believe. But anyway, whatever political campaign he was running. And he was clearly no winning. And he's like, yes, we're going to win! We're going to win! And I done a thumbnail with David Brent out the office on one side and Tommy Robinson on the other. We're winning! Like Tommy Robinson's David Brent. But anyway, sorry, I need to get back to the Romulan. See, I'm alright, I can understand what the Romulan's saying because I've got a language converter chip in my head, but yous who can't, like, just look at this wee guy's hands. He'll tell you what's up.
Is needed. Well, our first report is from our Kyiv correspondent, James.
Power of suggestion.
Until now, Dnipro had avoided Russia.
Here's this Hypno Man!
But not anymore. Air raid sirens were followed by this. 3 airstrikes, according to authorities, damaging a shoe factory.
Mate, I don't think you should get a job in the National Lottery telling people they've won the lottery, because you would depress the fucking life out of fucking any cunt with your fucking monotone, unemotional, hypno fucking voice. I know it's a learned ninja skill that MI6 pumped into your fat ass, but it's definitely not a skill they need down the National Lottery. You just won the lottery line.
Apartment block. A nursery. Russia is widening its attack. Explosions illuminate Lutsk in the northwest, leaving at least 4 people dead. And Ivano-Frankivsk in the southwest. Both strategic strikes on air bases, say Moscow. Remember that 40-mile-long Russian convoy northwest of Kyiv? For days it had been stuck, but according to the latest satellite images, thousands of armoured vehicles and troops are thought to have spread out, taking with them heavy artillery to surrounding towns. And what Ukrainian military chiefs think that means is Russia is preparing to mount a full-scale attack on Kyiv. Just this...
Kiev! Woo! For all Hypno Man's faults, at least he knows how to say chicken Kiev.
This morning there was a missile strike to the east of the city. 6 people were injured after this impact in Barashivka. For those who can, They continue to try and escape the fighting in the capital.
That's the best way to have it collect.
Those who can't or choose not to leave, many are elderly. This is a queue for this local authority building, which is giving out clothing.
Oh, there's Hypno Man there.
Meals. Many are nervous.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. He does look like Humpty Dumpty, doesn't he?
We can buy food, but of course.
Babalenka! How many other people are inside her? Let's open her up and find out.
Across Ukraine, tens of thousands have been evacuated through temporary ceasefires, and the hope is more will follow.
We will open humanitarian corridors. They will work on the following routes.
Is it Bridget Jones, or is it the lesbian tennis player or something?
The route will be cleared and made safe from mines. A column of
Really wanted-
buses carrying humanitarian aid will
She's
depart
a dude in a
from
dress.
to Mariupol. We hope
No,
that
she's
the
not even in
corridor
a.
will work today.
He's not even in a dress.
However, the Red Cross says not a single person has made it out of besieged Mariupol so far. People are running out of food and water and are dying. As this war spreads into more parts of Ukraine, the window for people to escape it is shrinking. James Waterhouse, BBC News in Kiev.
I'm sorry, man. I know, man. You just need to try and understand what I'm laughing at. Just that statement there. People are running out of food and water. And are dying. Oh, man, it would have been better if it. People are running out of food and water. And they're dancing a jig. It would have been well better, wouldn't it? But no! Mr. Hypno Man has to hit us with the depressing shit.
Let's go now to our chief.
Peace, Romulan.
Who is
Oh, there's Bagface Lady.
And at least Russia is
Sorry
now
to be mean,
widening
man,
its
but
attack on Ukraine, it seems.
it's almost like a scarecrow for Wizard of Oz, isn't it? You know, like a bag with a couple of slits.
This is a new phase in this long and punishing war for Ukraine. As
War.
we've been hearing in these reports, new targets hit in the west. And for the first time, Dnipro, which has become a kind of safe haven for people fleeing places which have been under incessant Russian attack.
Please,
Russia has said that it is striking
people that are
military
watching,
targets.
put your guess.
That may be the case, but they're also
guess
hitting
where her
residential
accent's
areas
from.
Yet again.
It's
The town of
impossible,
Oranka
isn't it?
in
It's
eastern
the
Ukraine,
unnameable
which there had been a
accent.
So-called
It's the
humanitarian
perfect
corridor
spook
earlier
accent.
in the war, a place
the
where
war.
a week ago it was reported that 90% of the city had been flattened. Now that is said to be under Russian control. There is supposed to be today even more humanitarian corridors, 12 in all, but in most of them, the so-called ceasefire breaks down as soon as it starts. President Zelensky said last night that 100,000 people have been taken to safety from the shelling
Gonna
and
leave
sieges
Bag Lady
so
on
far.
and make myself a
But
cup of tea.
Mariupol in the south, conditions there are now described as primeval. The last communication center has been hit, cutting off its communications with the rest of this country and the world. And here in Kyiv, the Russian forces continue to come closer.
Lise, thank you very much.
Hey, but don't worry, man. You've been cut off from the whole of the world, but you can apply to come to the UK online. Get yourself on that website. All you need is a passport, and then you give us your biometric data, and then shows you've got white skin, blue hair, blue eyes and blonde hair, and you're in. We'll even find you a family, fuck's sake. Oh shit, hold on. Let's put Bag Lady in the Romulan back on.
Very much. Lise Doucette there reporting from Kyiv. Well, Moscow has requested a meeting of the UN Security Council, claiming, without providing evidence, that the US has been developing biological weapons in the country. Washington has rejected the Russian claims as laughable. Britain and America have accused Russia of planning to manufacture a fake story to justify carrying out a possible chemical attack in Ukraine. Our security correspondent Frank Gardner reports.
Now, if you want to go and see the playbook that may be getting played out here, go and check out the chemical weapons stories, counter stories, narratives, counter narratives in and around Syria and chemical weapons.
This is the aftermath of a chemical attack. Syrian civilians doused with the nerve agent sarin in a Damascus suburb in 2013. That country's...
See this guy here? He's ex-MI6. And he took a bullet or something, he turned into a gimp, now he sits behind the desk.
Government went on to use more poison gas attacks to flush out rebels from urban areas.
The four-year siege of Aleppo was fought conventionally by the Russians and Syrians, and they got nowhere. 13 days.
Now, what you'll see is a lot of very high-ranking... Oh, God, look at that guy. What you'll find is a lot of very high-ranking Western officials, talking heads, bouncing up and inferring that Russia and Syria, without doubt, were using chemical weapons inside Syria. Now, this is why they need to block RT. RT will offer up a counter-narrative. But for you to make an informed decision as to what the fuck went on in Syria, which was a proxy war between Russia and the West, to what's going on right now in Ukraine, which is a proxy war between Russia and the West. And they're rolling out the same shit. Assad's Hitler. Oh, indiscriminate bombing, look what they're doing, they're rolling barrel bombs, ooh, they should be using bombs made in America that go bang the way we want them to go bang and not the way you go to fucking complaining how they're murdering people. You know, like you fucked up, mate, you're complaining that they're not murdering people in the right way. They should be murdering people the way we murder people, using the same bullets that we use. You know, the My Little Pony ones. We shoot out and they end people's lives, but no murder happens because we're the good guys. Oh, Jesus, Macaresis. Right.
Of dropping chlorine barrel bombs broke that siege. So if you want to get a siege done quickly, then, you know, these morbidly brilliant weapons are very useful.
The Pentagon has voiced fears that Russia may now be looking for a pretext to use chemical weapons to break the deadlock over Ukraine's besieged cities. Ukraine, like many countries, has research labs like this one investigating infectious pathogens, but Moscow has accused it of developing biological weapons with US help, aiming to spread disease into Russia. Ukraine has vigorously denied.
Now, hold on a sec. Tune in next Tuesday, 9 o'clock for Not the Infowars Nightly News. Let me see if I can bring this up. Is this it?
Scott Ritter, thank you.
Oh, it is. Now, bear in mind, this is coming from George Galloway, who has a show, did have a show, still has a show on RT, and he's always been against the status quo, the establishment and stuff like that, right? But anyway, this guy goes on and talks a wee bit of detail from a wee bit of a more educated place than your average Joe. And he talks about what's the difference between a bio weapons factory and a bio research centre. Research centres there to research vaccines and stop bad things happening and stuff. But then when you investigate a wee bit more detail, what's actually there is leftovers from the Soviet Union. And what the Soviet Union was doing was stockpiling chemical weapons. So what they've got is stockpiles of old Soviet Union chemical weapons in their research centres. So let me share this. Oh shit! Let me share this with the class. This work.
Scott Ritter, thank you for joining us.
In the meantime, a wee bit more.
Like this.
Мы адекватные люди. Я президент адекватной страны.
We are decent people. I am the president of a decent country,
In the
a decent
afternoon
nation,
wrap.
and the father of 2 children. And no chemical weapons or any other weapons of mass destruction were developed on my land. The whole world knows that. You know that. And if you do something like that against us, you will get the most severe sanctions response.
Санкционный ответ.
Russia's military progress has been much slower than expected. It continues to lose men, weapons and equipment in lethal ambushes. But it is slowly encircling the cities and showing no sign of letting up. President Putin, who ordered this invasion, now wants foreign volunteers to boost his forces.
Lethal ambushes.
That there are people who...
What he means, right? So again, we just heard that the Russian military they're not advancing as quickly as they want. Oh no, they're not doing good. They keep getting killed in ambushes. What that means is the Ukrainian army, whatnot, have resorted to guerrilla warfare, which you could say was evident in the RT footage of the military base that was evacuated. They took off all their military fatigues and stuff and blended in with the civilian population. So you could say that they have resorted to guerrilla warfare tactics, which the West would love, because it's been muted before with people in positions of power to turn places into their Vietnam, if that makes sense. So you could argue that might be a tactic for the West. Turn Ukraine into Russia's Vietnam and make that bleed them dry. Just like Afghanistan. You know, you set up an unwinnable war zone, war field, theatre of war, and it just bleeds the country dry of resources, slowly but surely.
Want on a voluntary basis, especially those not in it for money, to come and help people living in the Donbass, you need to meet them halfway and help them move to the combat zones.
Right, so they're trying to paint Putin bad for suggesting people can go and help folk in the Donbass region. And at the same time, you've got British MPs suggesting UK military personnel should go and fight in Ukraine. They then came out and said they didn't say it, but they were on record as saying it, so... Was it Patel or something? I can't remember who it was,
Ukrainians
actually.
are defiant. Many of those remaining in their country say they will fight to the death. But the harder they resist, the more destruction is wreaked on their cities.
That's what she said.
It's clear that President Putin is prepared to go to any lengths to stop his neighbour becoming a part of Western Europe. Frank Gardner, BBC News.
Let's go live now
Peace,
to Moscow
Romulan.
to our correspondent there, Jenny Hill. And Jenny, why has Russia demanded this meeting of the UN Security
I'm not
Council?
sure. Oh, look, it's Beaker.
I think one of the
For the
reasons is
Muppets.
that alongside the fighting in Ukraine, Vladimir Putin is waging an information war. He's repeatedly sought to justify his actions in Ukraine by repeatedly coming up with two accusations that Ukraine is trying to acquire nuclear weapons, and this other accusation that Ukraine is developing biological weapons with the help of the US. It's been all over Kremlin-controlled media the last day or so. That media continues in...
I'm racking my brains for some useless information that I might have heard. During the Soviet era, I think 40%, was it 40% of Soviet's nuclear power stations or nuclear arsenal was in Ukraine? Can't remember. It's one or the other. Somewhere in the... Ah, shit. I can see that thing I can't remember, but I can kind of remember. We talk about it even though I can't remember.
Incidentally, to perpetrate, dismiss as
Afternoon,
fake news
the rebel.
the strike on that maternity hospital
Jenny
in
Hill.
Mariupol recently.
So
As you've seen,
housewife.
we have heard from Vladimir Putin a couple of times today. He's spoken with his Security Council, who've assured him that everything is going according to plan and that
I missed that clip.
16,000 foreign fighters from the Middle East are ready and willing to be sent in with Russia to Ukraine.
It's the commies coming!
Really still defiant in the face of increasing sanctions, increasing international isolation. Today, he received in Moscow one of his few remaining allies on the world stage, Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus. And as the two men sat chatting together for the TV cameras, Mr. Putin talked about the impact of sanctions on his country and really dismissed them, saying, you know, the Soviet Union existed under sanctions, and that went on to achieve, he said, colossal success.
Jenny,
Long live the Soviet Union and the Romulans!
Barbara Plett-Usher. And Barbara, what's likely to happen at this UN Security
Afternoon,
Council
buddy.
meeting?
Hope you're not just up.
Well, Rita, you know, it's often said that diplomacy is war by other means, and that's what we've been seeing at the UN. So this is the latest battle in that.
The diplomacy is war by other means, and politics is show business for ugly people. Yep.
War, I think. We can expect to hear the Russians repeat their accusations that the United States is funding Ukrainian research into pathogens, deadly pathogens.
What do you mean it's true? Right, well, maybe it might not be deadly pathogens, but the United States is funding research, biological research facilities, admittedly, and God only fucking knows what's genuinely going on in those places. And do you think you're going to get anywhere near the truth in a time of war? There's all sorts of shit in times of war and all that shit gets enacted and it's like legal for the country to lie to you. In America they used to have a thing called the Smith-Mundt Act, which basically made it illegal for the US government to propagandise their citizens. I think it was about 10 years ago. They had to withdraw that. Now, they had to withdraw it because their propaganda that they were spewing out abroad kept working its way back into the United States, which means they were breaking the law technically. Because of the opening up of the... Because of the New World Order, the globalism, man! Moloch!
That could be used as a weapon against Russia. We can expect the United States to again deny that, saying that this is nonsense. They have no bioweapon labs anywhere in the world. They are funding public health research in Ukraine into how to mitigate the spread of dangerous diseases, as is the EU, as is the WHO. But I think especially we can expect to hear them raise concerns that what the Russians are doing is creating a pretext to use biological or chemical weapons themselves and then blame
false flag
and Ukraine. Keep an eye
false
on China.
Flag.
China has repeated
false
these
flag.
Russian claims and called for an investigation. It may say that as well. So really, Rita, what you're seeing at the Security Council here is basically open information warfare.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Alex Jones would be proud. Peace, Romulan.
Continue,
you need to do that every time, man, or they fucking try and want to come and conquer Estonia.
Today said that 2.5 million people had now fled Ukraine in what they described as
put out the olive
senseless
branch
war.
to Starfleet.
Poland has seen the greatest influx of people, now totaling more than 1 million.
Thank fuck they're white.
Our correspondent Dan Johnson has been speaking to refugees and to volunteers.
And I mean that in a sense, otherwise... Poland would be kicking them out.
Relief centres in Krakow
or rioting about them coming in.
There are clothes here, there's food, there are people sleeping on the floor upstairs as a temporary measure before they're found somewhere else to go on to. And Yulia's one of
Oh my God, it's Djokovic! What's Djokovic doing as a BBC part-time BBC reporter? And where did they get this English accent?
In the future?
Maybe this night we'll stay also here, but in the future, I don't know our future, because this is a short stay here, and we'll have a house only in some days, on the 17th of March.
Only some days.
That's it.
So you're safe, but it's still uncertain.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate your time. This is a huge effort from voluntary groups, from charities, and Anna's one of the volunteers in charge here. This has been a phenomenal effort for the last 2 weeks. So much generosity, people opening up their homes to look after refugees. Can that carry on?
15 minutes we cannot carry on like this, because Poland gave us a big...
We had too many murders and rapes, and there are stocks of the old vodka are running low. Hold on a second. I got to have my breakfast vodka. I'll finish that in a minute. It may clear my nose and make me stop sounding like a robot.
Is that just can't continue indefinitely. Dan Johnson, BBC News, Krakow.
Well, that
Peace,
is all from
Romulan.
me and the team in Lviv this lunchtime. Let's go back now to the studio in London.
Oh, we're going away for Starfleet.
Rita, thank you very much indeed. Well, here the government is being urged to do more to make it easier
Lovely
for
Rita,
refugees
Rita
to find sanctuary
Romulan.
in the United Kingdom. From Tuesday, many will be able to apply online for permission to come here.
Yay! They're all cut off, no electricity, no internet, no nothing, but you can apply online to come to the UK. Gotta love that. Gotta love that. Now, I get it, man. Obviously, the blonde hair, blue eyed, lovely My Little Pony refugees. They're not refugees. They're brothers and sisters without a home. Refugees are brown and black and come in rubber dinghies. These people come riding on My Little Pony. And when they ride into town, they just start firing out rainbows out every orifice. Hitting everybody with the rainbow juice.
And in the meantime, a temporary visa application centre is opening in northern France today to help hundreds of people waiting for permission.
Hold on a second. I thought the rule that we applied to the brown people is if they're in France and they're seeking asylum, then fucking you're in France. Get used to fucking some cheese and crackers, motherfucker. What, you didn't come to the UK? Rules apply that you need to stay in the first fucking country that isn't going to kill you. Same rules no apply. Oh yeah, you got blonde hair, blue eyes. Come on in, we'll find you a house. Unfucking believable, man.
To travel to the UK. Our correspondent Phil Mackey sent us this report from Arras.
There are hundreds of Ukrainians stranded in northern France who'd dearly love to be on one of these. But the visa process has been complex and slow. They've had to make long journeys to make applications in person. This is the queue in Paris.
I want to save my daughter because she don't sleep at night when all this happen. She wake up in night and she cries. She not sleep. We don't sleep 3 nights. And now we hope maybe we go to another country.
Maybe we could get you a room with Borat and you can have riveting conversations together. You like the pen? You like a pen? Fuck me.
Country and maybe we stay there. We hope for that.
Today, a temporary office opened for those with appointments in Arras, about an hour from Calais. The call for help from the British government came on Monday evening. They needed somewhere closer to the coast where the Ukrainian refugees were to visit, to come in person to make their
visa Hypno Man's granddad or something?
To be in Lille, and there was an office that opened there
or
briefly
Tony
Blackburn.
Tony Blackburn's granddad.
Where they can process.
In fact, I think Tony Blackburn's about that age.
For as long as is necessary, but by next Tuesday, the whole process will be.
Right. Time's moving on, John, and it's Freitag. Yes, look how cool this looks, man. RT's well the best. They make war look well the coolest.
The crisis in Ukraine has demonstrated just how fragile and out of bounds global security has become. Instead of calling for a ceasefire and de-escalation, NATO countries are doing everything in their power to prolong the conflict. This approach is turning Ukraine into a failed state.
Boom, top of our news.
The UN Human Rights Office sounds the alarm as Meta breaks its own rules and allows cause for violence against Russian soldiers amid the Ukraine conflict with the Instagram.
Now, this is unbelievable. You can see it's part of the virtue signalling cock train. You could also say that with this war, with this recent war, I don't think we've ever witnessed, even with Syria. I mean, Syria was different for others as well, with the integration of the social media element, the information war on the social medias. This time in Ukraine, the Western controlled social medias have came right out and exercised the power and just declared Putin a madman, cut off RT and other Russian outlets for the Western world, for a lot of the Western world. And now Facebook is using its influence to AOK violence against X but not Y. Well fucked up. And it goes to show, I know a lot of people don't understand, I know a lot of people are sceptical about the power that social medias have. Recently with the blocking at RT, I mean, look at RT just now, 85 watching. My God, they used to have, I don't know the figures, but they used to have a lot more than that. Right, so it's affecting them. It's affecting the circulation of their information. The rights and wrongs of it, like the scandalous bits of propaganda. But that's why Wag the Dog News is so valuable. You get to see both sides. But that is scandalous, man. Absolutely fucking scandalous. And not only that, they're coming out and fucking saying it in statements and all that. Mental.
Instagram owner insisting this won't target ordinary people. Western countries step up their fight against ordinary Russian citizens as the country's musicians are now barred from international piano competitions. We get feedback from the Russian public.
If we look at what's happening with our cultural figures, athletes, our media, then one may ask, where is democracy or human rights here?
It's a kind of Russophobia and hysteria around the world. It's politics, and politics shouldn't affect the lives of people.
I might do some feedback. There must be a feedback
There's no such
on
thing
RT's
as
web
fast-tracking a
page
session.
and tell
EU
them to
leaders
stop
respond
getting
to the Ukrainian
translators that
president's
sound like
bid
fucking
to frantically
robots.
join the bloc.
Alright, Alex.
Hello and welcome from wherever you're joining us in the world. I'm Paula Slier, and we're coming to you live from our studios here in Moscow. I'll be your host for the next
And
half
they
hour,
say
and
gay
it's a pleasure
people are
to be with you.
tolerated in Moscow.
But first, let's have a look at the latest major developments on the situation in Ukraine. Russia's military said it would...
Oh, come on, because the Western press are telling us they're doing the hokey-cokey. You know, they're getting beat, but they're winning. They're getting beat, but they're winning. They're getting beat, but we need an air force. We're winning, but we need an air force. We're winning, but we need ammunition. We're winning, but we need this. Here's a shopping list of shit we need. We're winning, but we need you to come in and start World War III for us. Please. Look, they're killing babies. Play the game, Sam.
Observe a limited ceasefire on Friday to allow civilians to evacuate through secure routes proposed by Moscow. These are the key evacuation routes planned by the Kremlin. The Russian military adds it will unilaterally open the routes leading eastward to Russia every day.
What are you talking about, Alex? This one is fun and cool, man. Did you not see the drone? They've got drone footage. Oh, they've got helmet cam stuff. Oh, it's brilliant. As long as you don't see too many dead bodies up close, you know, like real death and destruction, I'm all good. Just keep that. I want computer game grade shit. No, just as soon as you shoot them in the head with your My Little Pony bullets, the body just evaporates and they go to heaven and they're in a better place. That's the kind of war I want.
Day, whether or not Kiev agrees. On Thursday, Russia offered Kiev to open as many as 14 corridors. However, Ukraine confirmed only 7 were in operation and opposed the evacuation of civilians to Russian territory. According to the UN, 2.5 million people have fled Ukraine since the conflict erupted last month. Russia's military has announced that the Donetsk Republic's army has gained control of the city of Volnovakha. Vladimir Putin has green-lit the proposal to transfer military equipment captured from Ukrainian forces to the breakaway Donbas republics. And at a meeting with his Belarusian counterpart, Putin said there are positive improvements in peace talks. Further details coming up in the program.
Хотел бы вас поздравить с успешным проведением референдума, результатом которого является внесение поправок в Конституцию. Я знаю, что я...
Social media giant Meta has again broken its own rules to allow nationality-based hate messages. This time to support public calls for violence against Russian soldiers.
Kill
The firm, which owns Instagram, WhatsApp and Facebook, will also reportedly let users call for the deaths of the Russian and Belarusian presidents.
Keep him semi-alive.
Even the UN Human
Let him
Rights
see
Office,
himself,
which
hang
says
himself,
it will
he's
talk to the American
intestines.
multinational. And there's already been
It's
a
all out,
massive
baby.
online backlash.
Oh, sweet.
We don't allow hate speech except against certain people from a certain country. Is one hell of a can of worms.
Death to
When hate
Hitler!
speech calls for violence, death threats, and praise for neo-Nazis are
Counter
considered acceptable
bastard!
by Meta because of
Poison them
war,
with
but only against the
palladium!
enemy, then they are clearly state-affiliated media.
Kill him
They're
with
also directly
kindness! He
promoting
doesn't
and
like
encouraging
that!
conflict, violence,
He's
and war.
crazy! He's
Facebook
loco.
is changing its hate speech policy so that some users can call for violence against Russians. And you can support the good Nazis too.
No, K9, they don't promote hate speech. They allow hate speech against people they deem wankers. That's the power of the book. I no longer engage with the face bag, to be quite honest.
The company claims the decision.
But I'm pretty sure the bastards fucking bought WhatsApp, didn't they? Fucking scumfucks. Do you know what else I seen the other day as well? I can't remember what fucking Meta were saying the other day. But I don't know if I dreamt this or this actually happened. I'm pretty sure it actually happened. Meta employ Miliband. Do you ever remember David Miliband? Fucking one of these again genetic fuck-ups. Can he speak properly? Again, man, politics is show business for fucking ugly, retarded folk. The proof is in the pudding. Just need to look at Parliament. With the right honourable wankers. I mean, right honourable gentlemen and gentle ladies.
Decision is temporary and comes in connection with Russia's special...
Shit! Get all your violence against fucking random Russian cunts out right now before they fucking repeal the fucking ban. Kill all Russians!
Operation in Ukraine, Meta will reportedly lift its hate speech restrictions for users only from some European states, including Russia and Ukraine. The tech giant, however, insists the decision is not aimed at inciting violence against ordinary people.
Here's the fun in that. Come on. We better random violence. Oh, that's ringing a bell. Oh, Clockwork Orange. Oh, I can't quite remember. I think he talks about random violence.
It comes 2 weeks after Meta established a special operations centre in order to tackle hate speech on the platform and remove content that incites violence. Yet its policy U-turn will also allow some previously banned praise for Kiev's neo-Nazi Azov battalion to quote in the context of defending Ukraine. Well, here's a look at the infamous militia group at the heart of the current fighting.
Oh, listen to the music. Gotta love the fucking music. Nothing says to me top-notch journalism than background music akin to a Rambo fucking film. In fact, that reminds me of Australian cunts with trash cans. Trash cans. Fucking shoot me, man. It's alright, I'm Russian. It's allowed. Fucking Americanism, man. It reminds me of Australian cunts on top, on stage with rubbish bins. Alright, hold on, there's a Rambo music finished.
It's called racism.
What, man?
We can even call it fascism, nationalism, as you like it. It's just... I really don't have words when I saw this, because they were fighting it, hate speech and racism and all this stuff, and now they officially allow it. I don't know how to comment it, really. I have no words.
I mean, how compatible is this with, as you're saying, the company claims that its policies are against inciting violence?
Well, the thing is, I think it's too much for this small interview, but these companies, all these IT...
It's a hard choice, Alex, isn't it? Whether you go for the Russians or the Nazis. Don't flip a coin, mate. You know, like make some nice branding packaging, and then get somebody to go and stick them on a supermarket shelf next to each other, and just randomly walk by and see what one catches your eye first, and you will know what one's right for you.
And Facebook is just the most radical example, but we have to see what the others are going to do.
I mean, you're talking about radical. At the same time, it's allowing praise of the neo-Nazi Azov battalion. It says in the context of defending Ukraine. Now, is that so vague as to be meaningless, or is it a safely specific context?
Well, it's the same game. Facebook goes this way. Azov was forbidden on Facebook, and now since all this operation started, it's allowed to say how nice Azov is, and these are neo-Nazis. So what to say? And that's what I mean. They are really showing who they are. We right now see who they are. And until, well, 2 weeks ago, it was conspiracy theory and so on. But they show it themselves. There is nothing to discuss. We see who they are.
Who are they?
As I said, it's
Spartacus!
It's CIA. They're an instrument of the American propaganda. And I wrote several articles about that.
I'm Slim Shady, I'm the real Shady. This guy looks like a fucking Norwegian fish.
The whole internet, Google was founded with CIA money. The algorithm, the technology for Google was founded.
Mate, don't go into pure conspiratardom shit, mate. You're just going to make
students by CIA.
Water down your good work.
They reported to CIA, and this is public American.
Do you know the Federal Reserve is private? You ever heard of Moloch?
Documents, you can see this. You can see it with PayPal. The PayPal founder are the same people like Palantir founder. Palantir is the spies.
Fuck, I use PayPal, you fucking Norwegian looking fish. Don't scare me. Only have to move to the Russian equivalent because obviously I trust Putin not to spy on my shit like the CIA.
Software that maybe the best one in the world, I don't know, but it's sometimes in the media. And Palantir, these are the same people, Palantir and PayPal. And Palantir is In-Q-Tel. In-Q-Tel is an investment company of the CIA. And we can see this with all these IT companies. The big IT companies are CIA. They are all bounded to the CIA. And well, I've wrote several articles about this and I can show them.
I've got the documents! You're right, Alex. He is the European Alex Jones, but we've got hundreds of them, mate. Hold on, let me fucking think. Albert Pike, that's it. Right, I don't know, people that have done their rounds in conspiracy world will be familiar with the 33-degree Mason Albert Pike. He was the only I believe I'm right in saying the only Confederate officer that had a statue in Washington. Has a statue. Had a statue. Don't know if they've browbeated it done yet. And there was a story about a prediction that he made. Was it about World War III? Oh fuck, I forgot. He made a prediction, and in this prediction, like, people used it to reference biblical things and the creation of Israel and Zionism and, as I said, the creation of Israel and stuff like that. I remember I went ball deep into it, and I forgot more than I can remember, to be honest. It's on my channel somewhere though. If you put in Albert Pike, it's in one of my channels, and you'll see all the shit I went into. But if my memory serves me right, I tried to look for where the story came from, and where the story came from was a British guy, a Victorian Brit. This story was propagated in Victorian times. Just when you're talking about the European Alex Jones, mate, this was the Victorian Alex Jones. So what this Alex Jones guy done was he was fucked off and done a lot of travels. I don't know precisely exactly where he travelled, but in his travels he took in South America and Chile. And in the process of going to Chile, he went to, I think you would call it a church, or fucking wherever the priests and all that jazz hung out, and he was speaking to a Jesuit, and the Jesuit told him this story, and that's where the whole Albert Pike 33-degree Mason came from, and his predictions and all that. Now, if you actually, like, just for 2 seconds, don't just swallow the bullshit on the fucking first YouTube video that you see. One of the main jaw-dropping things about his prediction is the creation of Israel, the war with Israel, or some shit like that. Can't remember. Something to do with in and around Israel. I think it's the creation of Israel. And the mention of Zionism. But Zionism never existed when Albert Pike was alive. The word was non-existent. And Albert Pike spoke English. Granted, it was pidgin English compared to what we would call English nowadays, but so anywho, so that's where the Albert Pike conspiracy story about World War III or II. Oh fuck, I forgot more than I can remember. Right, let's get back to the Norwegian fish.
This would be original sources from American pages. This is not Russian propaganda. They wrote it themselves.
What are the consequences of Meta's decision? In what way will it actually impact the international debate over this topic?
There is no debate. There is only propaganda. It's emotion. Propaganda is what? Propaganda means emotionalize people. And this is what they are doing. They are not saying, let's discuss whether Russia is right or wrong, or war is good or bad. They say, we allow violence against Russians. This is emotion. There is no debate. That's the problem. If there would be a debate, it would be nice, but I don't see a debate. I just see emotions.
Do you think there's any chance that the company will review its decision? We've heard from the UN already expressing concern about this policy U-turn by Meta.
I'm ready to bet that no. It's the same like with Asaf, and I don't think that Facebook cares very much what the UN says. I don't think so.
And at the same time, we have the EU calling for Google to remove Russian state media from search results. Do you think that this is part of a wider anti-Russian drive that...
Hey, hold on. They've fucking done it. Or they did do it, or I was struggling to get RT fucking results on the Googles. Right. Well, maybe I must have made tripping. Or maybe they did do it. But maybe I just fucked up. Right, let's get no VPN. So it's allowing you to go to their web page. Alright, so they're not allowing them to broadcast, but you can still go to their web page, right? Well, okay, I stand corrected. I could have swore when they first pulled the trigger on this, I was trying to get a hold of RT, and I couldn't get it even on the Google search, but appears to be working now.
Also includes Meta.
Yes, as I said, Google was founded by two people who developed the necessary technology with money from the CIA. It's not my fantasy; they wrote it themselves. And of course, they will fulfill what they're taught to do. Whether the EU says it or whether Washington says it, I don't know. Yes, I see a big agenda here. I see the same with Twitter. These companies always were trying in Russia to make propaganda against the Russian government, like the Russian government or not. But Coca-Cola until now was happy to sell products in Russia, and they didn't care about politics. These internet companies always care about politics, and they always have the same opinion like Washington.
And if we zoom in on the situation right now, of course, the situation in Ukraine, do you think the EU is trying to silence alternative opinions about what's going on there?
I don't think so. They said officially. They blocked, in Germany, in the German constitution is written, there is no censorship. Article 5, last sentence. And now...
All right, Marty, my man, how you doing? Marty, you can't find it on a browser at all?
Like them or not, but they blocked RT, they blocked Sputnik, and this is censorship.
Where do you think Where do you think all of this is going to end? What is the final scenario if we keep going down this slippery slope?
I don't have any idea. I'm an analyst, and that means I see things that happened. The escalation is going on. The EU is shooting themselves with the sanctions. Russia didn't even answer yet with own sanctions, and they are already suffering in Europe, and Russia didn't even start to answer. And I don't see any way out of the escalation. Again, Facebook just is escalating with this, and I see a big agenda here the escalation is wanted. Nobody in the West is wanting to talk. There is no debate.
Right, I'm a technophobe, mate. It's Safari iPhone stuff, I believe. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old.
This censorship.
Well, I can only talk about the reactions I get on my work, well, my site is exploding by traffic. I have record traffic. I would be happy not to have it, but the reason is that many people write. I get hundreds of emails every day where people say, "Thank you, you are the last alternative voice in Germany," because they shut down all the alternative voices. I'm the only one who's giving the right point of view, whether it's right or wrong. But at least the people have to know both points of view when there is trouble. And I'm the only one left in Germany who's doing it. And from the reactions from my readers, and they are really, it's growing every day. I get very, very mails with saying thank you, more than 100, and maybe every second day a mail where they say you're a bad guy. So it seems the people want to get the information.
Independent journalist Thomas Rupert, thank you very much for joining us here on RT with those.
Apple's always ahead of the game in the old virtue signalling, Martin, isn't they?
Now, the Ukrainian refugee movement is described as one of the fastest and largest in recent years by humanitarian organizations, with most fleeing to neighboring Poland. Polish authorities estimate that on average 2 Ukrainians cross the border every 3 seconds. EU officials have confirmed.
Here, mate, see if you want to look for patterns in history, right? I don't know whether you recently heard. Oh man, see, because of the New World Order that's manifesting right now. I love to use that phrase. The New World Order that's manifesting right now. Germany recently announced. Now, please stick this in the Googles and get the proper details. I'm shooting for the hip here, but the long and the short of it, they've announced extending their military budget. Right, so I don't know if you remember your history about how after World War I, Germany wasn't allowed a big army with so on and so forth, and then fucking they got in a position and they started building it up because of X, Y, and Z. Same shit's happening, man. Same shit's happening. So expect a little Hitler to fucking start fucking Zeke Allen fucking in the bin parliament.
Is 60 kilometers from the city of Donetsk. On March the 5th, the Russian and Ukrainian sides agreed to open humanitarian corridors for civilians, though they still haven't managed to function as intended. An RT crew went to the city in question and talked to locals who have had to hide in basements.
Woohoo! Right, so let me get this right. The BBC is showing you people saying the big bad Russians are need to hide in the basement. RT is showing you people saying the big bad Ukrainians need to hide in the basement. Right now, and please don't be offended if you subscribe to this shit. I just don't. Right, if there's people out there that believe that this is 100% fabricated, this is all cardboard cities. Everything you see here is a crisis actor and whatnot. I just don't buy it, because if there wasn't a war or there wasn't this shit going on, man, either side would call either side out, but they're not. They're both bouncing up with their own narrative of how they're Robin Hood and they're fighting the bad guys. So just be aware of that, man. So like now, use make your own mind up, right? I think that's the most important thing. But for me, what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a polarised people. Ding 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 ding. Ring any bells? You don't need to go too fucking far to see fucking polarised fucking nations. Look outside your window. So I see polarised nations. My limited knowledge of the word that I'm going to struggle to say, ethnicity, where these cunts come from is limited. Stick to that. I know how to say that. But what seems to be self-evident is there seems to be a percentage of the population that relates more to Russia than they do to the EU, and there seems to be another percentage of the population that wants to be more friendly to the EU than Russia. Right? Does that not seem to be the truth of it? Instead of this, each side is painting their side as the only side, if that makes sense. And that's just not the reality. And it's like, it's insulting when they're up there telling you bullshit and you see the manipulation and you see the constant women and babies getting fucking put in front of you, crying, pulling on your heartstrings to get you to buy into their side. Anyway, I digress, I talk shite.
Will find a safe haven in Ukraine, where there are large quantities of weapons. Of course, the results will be terrible for Europe and the world.
Why is this Iraqi-looking motherfucker? Oh, I bet she's Syrian.
We'll probably get through the Ukrainian border.
Honestly, I didn't read that. It looks like a right. Anyway,
Significant increase in terrorist attacks throughout Europe, especially with the presence of a large number of European terrorists who fought in Syria.
Now, a Russian-German school has been set ablaze in Berlin. Firefighters managed to put out the fire, and police are investigating any connections between the arson and anti-Russian rhetoric that has taken on an international scale, with piano competitions banning Russian musicians amid a mass cultural back.
Oh, that's going to stop at work. Ban the cats. Ban the pianos!
This isn't a war against Russia, we are told. This is a war against Putin.
We will hold the Kremlin accountable.
Oh, you're right, Alex. We need Syrian girl again, man.
Adding President Putin and Foreign Secretary.
I believed everything she said, fucking strangely enough, man. No idea why.
Our European allies, the United
Kind of half believe her as well. She's a wee bit half believable.
Acts continue.
She's a liar.
Russian citizens, whether that be the direct consequences of sanctions or measures that are being taken here in Europe. Take the situation in Flanders in Belgium, where new students from Russia will now be excluded from a scholarship program that followed.
Devon, truth is the first casualty award, right? And I don't know about you guys and girls, right? But see what is happening here. It seems different in the sense that it seems like information war on steroids. And I'm trying to figure it. I'm perplexed as to whether this is the most important war or conflict ever, or it's just a product of the circumstance, i.e. the way the world's opened up, the way that the old school propaganda is trying to get on board with the modern day hits and clicks shit. You know what I mean? Like RT's there with the RT America rapping the news to you and all that, and the BBC and shits trying to catch up with all their versions of RT shit. Are you awake, or are you awoke, or are you woke? Okay, let's listen to the robot.
Minister, the ban is about heaping on the pressure.
We are not doing this because we believe that all Russians are guilty of the war, but we are doing it because we hope that measures like this will help to put pressure on those in power in Russia.
Man, that is an actual fucking robot. Is that a Russian or a robot? Here, that's a fucking game show. Do. Come on down tonight and play Russian or robot. Okay, clip number 1. Clip number 2. Okay, was that what one was Russian? What one was robot? You decide. Michael Barrymore could make a comeback, man. We could play it next to a pool.
In Brussels, there were conflicted opinions on the measure.
I don't find that fair in the sense that the Russian people have little to do with this. I suppose most Russians are anti-war. It is not a good thing to do against Russian students or any Russians, but maybe it will work. There are both anti and pro-Russian opinions. We should be more nuanced and balanced in our views, which is quite rare in media.
I don't think it's fair. I think everyone deserves education, and I think that most population in Russia, they don't want this war. They don't feel concerned about this.
On one part, it's very unfair toward the students because they are not responsible for the actual situation.
Chelsea fans apparently are still singing Abramovich's name, and they're getting told by politicians to stop doing it. I don't even know if I need to fucking say it, man. I mean, politicians should keep their fucking... Oh, do you know what, though? Up here, we've been ahead of the game up here when it comes to politicising fucking football. We've had a list of acceptable songs. Both Rangers and Celtic, you know. Because Celtic have got all their rebel tunes. Killing Huns. And we've got our hunting tunes about being up to our knees in Fenian blood. And Bobby Sands, fuck him, he's dead.
Like in Ukraine and things like that. But on the other side, I do think that, let's say, measures need to be taken against Russia in order to have a bit of an impact on what they're doing.
The cancelling of events related to Russia is also continuing. In Wales and the UK, the Cardiff Philharmonic Orchestra has removed works by Tchaikovsky from its programme at an upcoming concert.
What? It's removing my... This is like a cop. This is like... This is weird. This is like... Oh my god, like... There must be umpteen Russian football players in the UK. Are they getting the shit stick? This is unbelievable, man. I mean, I can understand them going after fucking Abramovich to make a kind of point, but they're deliberately going after him in a way to fuck up, to annoy the Chelsea fans. It's like punishing the Chelsea fans for allowing Abramovich in. They just seen the big money bags. They didn't give a fuck. He was laundering money. And see this, see the narrative that's coming out of the West. Abramovich made money by sucking Putin's cock and getting, is it gas? I think it was a gas company for, I think it was 100 million and it was worth 2 billion or something like that, right? But it was going from public ownership into private hands. The exact same shit fucking happened in this fucking country. See if you've got the time and the want, and like, you could go and look at who made a fortune in this country off of all the companies getting privatised and getting sold, and overnight trebling in price. Fucking hypocritical goldfish attention span bastards.
The once planned all Tchaikovsky concert is now being substituted.
In light of the recent Russian invasion of Ukraine, Cardiff Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh, an OK9. See, the best example, mate, is what's happened just with Newcastle, right? Because this is fresh. So what their owners have done have passed through whatever new checks and balances are meant to exist. Now, Saudi Arabia are currently sitting having a war in Yemen. Yemeni? Yemen! No, it's Yemen! I would love there to be a big fucking gang of Rastafarians staying in Yemen! It'd be brilliant, man, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. But in my mind, it is so. The problem with is that it's British love bombs and bullets killing the citizens. But no, they're not killing innocent citizens. What they're doing is they're dropping these bombs and they're not exploding. Little wee micro things are floating out and going and seeking out individuals and then assassinating them with, do you know that thing they kill cows with to the head? That's what it does. So it puts down the humans humanely. None of this Russian bombs and bullets that explode and hurt people and stuff. No. So K9, spot on, man. It's hypocrisy again. And I don't have a problem with the way the world works. I understand there's going to be war. You can't fucking stop it, man. Call me a pessimist and all that jazz, right? I'm going on thousands of years of known, documented history. That's what I'm going on. But I don't know if you can see that poster anymore. It's behind the treadmill. War is over if you want it, baby. And it's the war. I mean, like, if more people had the attitude of not participating in wars. If that happened, the government over here would have to bring back conscription. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. So, I'm quite happy with the current structure. I'll let the idiots who think it's cool to go and fight and put their life at risk for no reason batter in. I'll stay at home and play Champ Manager. Watch Rangers win 3-0. Woo! Anyway, sorry.
12 overture to be inappropriate at this time.
Though the move was apparently supposed to be in support of Ukraine, the idea of cancelling music...
The Cronkers, I think he's the Cronkies or Cronkies, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, Keeney. Am I right in saying that they're Yankee Doodle Dandies?
Well, this is clearly no skin off the nose of Tchaikovsky. For up-and-coming Russian musicians, being cancelled is problematic. In Ireland, the Dublin International Piano Competition has decided that they are not welcome.
Martin, see you saying that, they're fighting for our freedom. That word freedom is just, it's the most meaningless word that's bandied around that hypnotises so many people. And it's a word that we're trained, inherently trained, what's a Pavlovian response? Is that the right term I'm using? I forgot all this terminology, it's been that long since I've spoke shite on YouTube. We've been trained Pavlovian response. You cannot disagree or go against anybody who says freedom. So when they and we've witnessed this in action when they bounce into Libya, Syria, Iraq, so on and so forth. Well, we're there with freedom, we're spreading freedom, democracy and freedom. I don't know if you can see that because of the. Oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Lost my fucking space now. Bastard. I knew better. Oh, you can't read it. The light's too shite. Let me see if I can. Change the gigabits. Oh, there we go. I'm too bright now, but you can read that. Freedom! That was a painting somebody done for me. Back in my day when I was all into the old freedom! And then I came to realise it was a meaningless word that a lot of people use and throw out there to get you to nod along to their bullshit. What do you mean by freedom? It's very well, and again, this has been pedantic, but freedom is subjective. You know, Tony Blair's freedom is bombing the motherfucking freedom into you. My freedom is don't shit in my doorstep, I won't shit in yours. Plenty of windy liquors out there. I think it's big and clever to shit on doorsteps, but they like to get that shat in their mouth. I've seen the documents! Hold on. I don't know if that's working yet. Is that working yet? I don't know if you can see that. Makes me look like Casper. Hi, freedom, Martin. That's it, freedom. And listen, me pulling apart that word or pointing out, banding that word around. It's meaningless rhetoric, especially with politicians and shit. I mean, we've witnessed it time and time again. And it happened in the truth movement, the freedom movement, the whatever you want to call it. The word freedom was bandied around all the time. And I was a simpleton Puritan. Like, freedom for me was like borderline anarchy. But it wasn't anarchy, but it couldn't be anarchy because anarchists have a fucking rule book. Like shit, you know. I also have organisations with kinda de facto leaders and shit. Well, anarchy organised in the UK. So I can't even call myself, like, I'm an independent freelance anarchist. No, I'm a fuck man, I'm a lord. What am I talking about? I'm a lord with a sword. And declared myself independent and held my own elections. None of this is my name. I'm just sitting fucking like Nero. Fiddling. I'm just sitting like Nero fiddling. That's the lyric, man. That's my poem. Sounds more romantic in the East European languages. Right, don't press that, don't press that. Let me see if I can get fucking RT back. I think I folked it. Think I mean the book it. Folked it. Right, let's see what time we are. Oh, hold on. Let's go back. I think if I go live. Oh, no, that's wrong. Don't want to do, right? You want to do this? Oh, it's the Monotone Ranger! Woo! It's the guy that used to work for InfoWars, then he worked for the UK column, but he's independent because he does the 20th century wire, easy for me to say, in a rapping way. Hey, I'm not gay. What can I say? See? Fucking rapper at heart, mate. Keep the reels. But anyway, let's listen to the Monotone Ranger.
Armed forces and not the people of Ukraine per se. And so that's actually that actually is a big problem with this whole conversation. And it's also a problem probably within political circles in the Ukraine, but also in the European Union as well.
This guy, Monotone Ranger. Remember, he's independent. He used to work for InfoWars. Then he worked for the UK column, but the UK column's independent for InfoWars. They've got nothing to do with each other, even though they both fucking cross-promoted each other back in the day. But then they stopped doing that because it made them look bad because Alex Jones was a fucking raving lunatic.
As you correctly state, this is a slippery slope, and one just has to wonder where it will end. Patrick Henningsen, geopolitical analyst and journalist, thank you so much for joining.
No! Cracky jokes, lesbian! He's a monotone talking head ranger. That's a fucking song as well. He's a monotone talking head ranger. Roberto.
Joining us here on RT. The Ukrainian refugee movement is described as one of the fastest.
I'd love to get him full of Eki or Coke and let him do a wee fucking thing, man. See him a wee bit fucking enthusiastic. You know? A wee bit of emotion, a wee bit of enthusiasm injected into his reporting. Instead of him trying to be all straight-laced and shit. Because he used to work for InfoWars, mate.
And largest in recent years by humanitarian organisations, with most people fleeing to neighbouring Poland. Polish authorities estimate that on average 2 Ukrainians cross the border every 3 seconds. EU officials have confirmed that the bloc has already received more than 2 million people from Ukraine, with Germany, Belgium, Moldova and other countries said to have been overwhelmed by the influx. Many who have fled say they fear for their families' lives.
All the time the shooting we hear. That's why we're afraid we go to the Kyiv. My family tried to the Europe.
They shooting, our army shooting, it's...
Right, no offence, man, but yous motherfuckers should be at the fucking front line. These are the motherfuckers that are going to end up turning up and getting a house and all that, you know? Fit, healthy males that should be dying on their own doorstep. Because they fucking voted in a fucking cha-cha-cha western bitch as a president. Fucking reality TV star. Fuck me.
It was a very bad place for living or just staying there.
Now, at a meeting with his Belarusian counterpart, Vladimir Putin has noted positive changes in Moscow-Kiev talks.
Who wrote an article about one of your videos, Martin? Sargon? Or Patrick Headingway? Or whatever his name is? I know, man, like, you're only a good refugee if you don't come in a boat and you're no brown.
An agreement on evacuation corridors has been a point of contention between Kiev and Moscow since the third round of bilateral talks last week.
Kiev!
And Ukraine's president has repeatedly accused Russia of not obeying a ceasefire deal for civilian safe zones. Moscow, in turn, says it's Kiev that's been deliberately preventing people from fleeing.
They're playing...
Russia's military has announced that the Donetsk Republic's army has taken control of the city of Volnovachcha, the site of intense fighting in recent days, with civilians having found themselves caught in between the warring sides. Volnovachcha is 60 kilometers.
Well, Devo, mate. Don't be offended that I disagree with you. I agree with you to a certain level. I don't see it as like fucking Satan rising or whatever. Right? Like, and time will tell. Good examples to go and explore to get a better idea of how I come to my conclusion how this is going to play out would be the conflict in Georgia back in the 90s. Do you know Georgia has a George Bush Avenue in the airport? Massive fucking street. Anyway, the Georgia conflict and the more recent one in Syria. And I think if you scratch beneath the surface, I'll use that ages. Scratch beneath the surface of those two conflicts, you'll get a better idea of what's going on here and how it may pan out. I've already said I need to find out the name of that fucking river, right? But there's a river that goes down Ukraine and it kind of snaps off an eastern chunk. And I don't know if it encompasses Kiev I don't know if it does. I'll need to check that out. Why is that disappearing? Right. Let's see if I can figure this out. Quick smart. Right. Where are we? Right, there's the river there. I don't know if you can see it. See this river here? Right, whatever it's called. Does it? Where's Kiev? Oh, Kiev's right on the river. Right. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I never registered that. But what I was saying was, now this is just me fucking talking shite out my arse. There's no reason anybody should believe this or whatever. I'm just putting it out there, getting on record so that when it happens, because I know what I'm talking about, I can point at it and go, hey, hey. But that's what I think's happening. I think Russia's goal is to use that as a natural border and snap off the east of Ukraine, to use it as a no man's land, let's say, against NATO, because otherwise NATO would literally be directly up against Russia's border, and if Ukraine became a member of NATO, some would argue it would only be a matter of time before NATO put their missiles in Ukraine. And that's always been a red line for the Soviet Unions, which then became the Russian Federation, and it's been documented. They've got the minutes of the meeting. They had a gentleman's agreement as well as the minutes, and the NATO is just went against it, and there's no denying that. And you can argue the wrongs and the rights of it and stuff, but you can see why Russia is a bit pissed off. And I don't understand why there isn't a happy medium where you keep Ukraine demilitarized at the very least. Some sort of a compromise, like, right, okay, you can join NATO with these special conditions. There won't be a single NATO love bomber bullet or My Little Pony rocket launchers put anywhere in Ukraine. Something along those lines. Especially there wouldn't be any fucking nuclear capable missile sites put in. Shit like that, you know? But anyway, I'm just talking shite. Let me get back to the good stuff.
From the city of Donetsk. On March the 5th, the Russian and Ukrainian sides agreed to open humanitarian corridors for civilians, though they still haven't managed to function as intended. An RT crew went to the city in question and talked to locals who have had to hide in basements.
I didn't realise how late it was.
Volnovakha is a small town of 20,000 inhabitants. It's turned into one of the hottest spots on the Donbas front, with intense fighting going on for days. The situation is changing every 10 minutes.
Roberto, I don't know whether you realise this or you deliberately done it or whatever, man. I don't think Missy Elliott was a Fuji. You know, oh man, I can picture her. You can't run, you can't hide, do. Gotta find. Oh, what was her name? Ah, fuck. Roberto, I don't even think it's order followers, mate. Like, I think it's people that are easily swayed. Look at the foreign legion that's amassing in the Ukraine, whether it's 100 or 1,000 people. What is possessing these idiots that come in for modern Western society where the supermarkets are full to the brim, and fucking off to fucking backwards Ukraine? Vodka for breakfast, fucking bit of bread if you're lucky. Oh look, here's Rambo.
Necessary for the operation of the humanitarian corridor, the Russian troops did not cease fire.
Ukraine's president has expressed frustration after EU leaders pushed back his bid to fast-track membership of the bloc, and they warned there is no such mechanism for rapid accession in place.
Can we open an accession procedure today with a country at war? I don't think so. Should we close the door and say never? That would be unfair. Can we forget about the balance of the region? We must be careful.
This is a years-long procedure. We have to look at what we can do in the short term. All the countries in the western part of Europe that I speak to say that you shouldn't try to have an express train, a fast-track procedure or accelerated accession process.
We must not give Ukraine the feeling that everything can happen overnight.
The EU is not ready for enlargement. Its decision is rooted in unanimity.
Did she not come out and do some of her own stuff and all that? And she was quite good. I don't know. More of a 90s thing, wasn't it? The Fugees. God. Fraudulent slip and calling them refugees, man.
Now banning Russian musicians amid a mass cultural backlash over the war in Ukraine. RT's Charlotte Dubensky reports.
This isn't a war against Russia, we are told. This is a war against Putin.
We will hold the Kremlin accountable.
See what I think of Missy Elliott, Roberto? I think of the big fat lesbian in a big shiny shell suit for some reason. Dancing around doing a pure weird dance as if there's a big wind machine in her shell suit or something. You know, as if it's like a sumo suit or something. I'm getting weird flashbacks. Must have been extremely high watching that shit. Or maybe I just dreamt it.
We're adding President Putin and Foreign Secretary Lavrov to the list of sanctions. They are responsible for the deaths of...
Avo, again, mate, I'm not doing this deliberately just to go against you, but I would argue at one point I get sucked into the rabbit hole, black hole, that everything's fake, everybody's an actor, everything's made out of cardboard, shit like that. And then as time went on, I started being a wee bit more pragmatic, and again, as I always say, just really started saying it, but I'm going to start saying I've always said it. As I always say, what would Spock do? How would Spock think? Right? So see, when you're thinking, is this person an actor? Is that a crisis actor? Is this a dummy? Is this a mannequin? Is this a real bomb victim? Like you're analysing frame by frame blurry images that you can't really tell and shit. Like again, what would Spock think? Right, so like typically Spock goes down the logical route, and like me myself, for the way I would explain it, is a cost benefit analysis. Right, so what's easier? What's cheaper? What's the easiest way of getting this footage out on the RTs? I'll use an example of that power station with the 6 reactors or whatever. What's easier? Going to the actual power station, either faking the fire or showing on camera the real fire that was happened because there was a real war going on. I mean, nobody's denying there's a real war going on, but there probably is. Anyway, what would Spock do, say, where? Because he always looks dapper. And what I would say is a cost-benefit analysis. So, is there fucking people out there trodden off talking points, talking for scripts, being told what to do, being told how to act, definitely. Is there even people getting planted in places to walk by the camera and hobble and act injured or whatever to paint a picture? Definitely. But in my opinion, I definitely believe that. In some occasions. But on some occasions there really is fucking things getting blown up and people with fucking things hanging off. And then just so happens to be cameras there to catch that shit. And then that gets spewed all over. You know, it's anyway, what would Spock do, say?
Of innocent people in Ukraine.
And in alignment with the decision by our European allies, the United States will join them in sanctioning President Putin.
Despite that, the West's axe continues to fall on everyday Russian citizens, whether that be the direct consequences of sanctions or measures that are being taken here in Europe.
I heard Spock was genetically modified so he could smell like a fucking bloodhound.
Take the situation in Flanders in Belgium, where
in the
new
afternoon,
students
who
from
cares?
Russia will now be excluded from a scholarship programme. That followed a request that came from Ukraine. However, according to the Flemish education minister, the ban is about heaping on the pressure.
We are not doing this because we believe that all Russians are guilty of the war, but we are doing it because we hope that measures like this will help to put pressure on those in power in Russia.
In Brussels, there were conflicted opinions on the measure.
I don't find that fair in the sense that the Russian people have little to do with this. I suppose most Russians are anti-war. It is not a good thing to do against Russian students or any Russians, but maybe it will work. There are both anti and pro-Russian opinions. We should be more nuanced and balanced in our views, which is quite rare in media.
I don't think it's fair. I think everyone deserves education, and I think that most population in Russia, they don't want this war. They don't feel concerned about this.
On one part, it's very unfair toward the students because they are not responsible for the actual situation, like in Ukraine and things like that. But
Alex, like, if it wasn't so tragic, it'd be funny. I know I'm fucking pissing myself laughing, but I love the way it's been framed by RT and the ilk. Like, you know, like they're cancelling Russia. You know, it fits in with that pure right-left fucking polarisation paradigm that's going on right now over in the West as well. And we are cancelling Russia, man. It's fucking unbelievable. You know, like, I'm a football fan, as you know, and the amount of crooks and countries that fucking torture and warfare and all sorts of shit that own and run football clubs is unbelievable. And people, it's not went unnoticed, but nobody's ever talked about anything ever happening to this extent. And then like that, boom, overnight, for something that's nothing to do with Abramovich, but because Abramovich is his pals with somebody. And like, this is the thing as well. I've heard this idea or meme doing the rounds as well, in the sense that if they can do that to Abramovich, right, bounce in and steal all his shit with no due process whatsoever, just, oh, he's bad, he's he supports the red car, and we're obviously for the blue car, so any country that supports the red car, whoop, whip all their shit away. Right? Now, the president is set, the president is set, so, if you're able to paint somebody in such a bad light in the future, regardless of who the fuck they are, you might be able to just turn up and whip away their shit. I mean, let's say, for example, 5 years down the line, secret safe turns up with all the royal family's secrets. Who's the current pedo in question? Andrew? Or is it Edward? I'm getting mixed up. Andrew, innit? Oh, fuck. Anyway, whatever pedo in question, whatever pedo is in question now, all his secrets come out. Like pictures of him fucking little fucking 2-year-olds and all sorts of shit. Then like everybody that's in line to the throne, about fucking 90 deep, pictures come out with them of fucking 2-year-olds. Right, that comes out, all confirmed. Boom. 5 years time, everybody's not bro. Ah, my fucking god, we're ruled by a bunch of Nazi paedophiles. Theoretically. Then we can turn around. No judge, no jury, just the court of public opinion and whip all their shit away, baby. So the precedent has been set. And I'm not saying the wrongs are right set. You can fucking make your own mind up whether you're down in the town with giving the state, whoever it may be, whoever's made this decision. A faceless fucking wonder just gets done. No questions asked. We've sanctioned Abramovich. Who sanctioned him? The UK government. Who done this? Was it Boris? Who signed off on it? Who wrote the script? Who done this? Who said this is legal? Says they rock up and fucking rob some cunt of all their stuff because of who their friend is. And remember, the worst they can spin this guy's crime is that he made money off of buying the state-owned gas company. And like, what happened over here when we sold all the state assets to fucking Tom, Dick and Harry's? Oh my fucking lordy, man. It fucking drives me insane. Anyway, let's listen to this douchebag in a mask.
On the other side, I do think that, let's say, measures need to be taken against Russia in order to have a bit of an impact on what they're doing.
The cancelling of events related to Russia is also continuing. In Wales in the UK, the Cardiff Philharmonic Orchestra has removed works by Tchaikovsky from its concert.
We've seen this shit, right? That's enough. I'm going to do the off. I'll have a wee dip into the chittity chat and then I'll do the off. The Great Reset, Martin's saying. Mate, I'll be honest, I've never listened to anybody to any great lengths or in depth about people talking about the Great Reset. I mean, I'd imagine you could take that phrase and apply it to lots of things. But there's definitely a few shake-ups in the world happening right now. One of the major ones, no doubt, is SWIFT getting took away from Russia. And Russia and China are going to ferment and cement their payment system. And this isn't going to stop anything, it's just going to ferment the propagation of other systems that the banks will be more happier with than SWIFT. Thanks for joining the chat, Martin. You take care, man. Make sure everybody checks out Martin's channel and whatnot. Tune in next Tuesday. And if it's alright with you, man, I'm going to play that wee snippet of one of your tunes, man. I'm trying to remember It's called. I'm blanking. Oh fuck. Tune in on Tuesday and I'll show you. It's not lockdown. Anyway. Klaus Schwab's book. Press the EMP. Well, Roberto, like, what I've heard the BBC saying in the way of, like, demonising Abramovich, right? And look, I'm not saying this sticking up for him or saying that he is laundering Russian money, man. I'm just saying that this is the way that this is the worst that they can do to demonise him. He became an overnight billionaire for buying the Putin sold him the national gas company for I think it was 100 million and it was worth 2 billion at the time, right? So the idea they're putting out there is Putin undersold him it. Whether that is the case or not, I do not know. Some would say that it was the death of the Soviet Union. It was a fire sale. Everything was fucking going cheap as fuck. That's how pretty much all the Russian oligarchs made their money. But again, the hypocrisy and double standards tells you it's something else going on here when you look at Newcastle, for example, and the Saudi Arabian money that they've got directly from the top of Saudi Arabia, who are currently waging war in Yemen. Yeah, man. Using British weapons. And that's why it's no mention. So, thanks for joining, everybody. I might do a wee shindig at 6 o'clock. No. I need to be out at 7. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something later on. I don't know. I doubt it very much though. But tune in next. Make sure you thumbs it up as well. That's much appreciated if you do get a wee shit or a wee giggle. A bit of both. Both at the same time. A sharp. Make sure you thumbs it up if you've had a sharp. And have a good weekend. I doubt I'll do something later on. Feed myself and do loads of shit. Have a fucking nap. But I have a good weekend, everybody. Tune in next Monday or tune in next Monday, definitely. Maybe Sunday, depending on what I'm up to. Davo, you have a good weekend as well. Who cares? Martin, Roberto, Alex. In the after, one and all. Andy King, Roberto, who cares? K9, how you doing, my man? Kirks was in earlier as well, and so was Punk on the Whiskey, Colette as well, and the Rebel. And Rab. Shug was in as well, my man. I forgot you made the live show. A was in. Richard Brooks, the British Reactor. Thanks, everybody. And tell a friend. Wag the dog news. I need to make up some bullshit spiel that incorporates Wag the dog news. News. News that I spews. I don't know. Anyway, have a good June, everybody. I'll hopefully catch you over the weekend. If not, definitely Monday at 1 o'clock afternoon. Yay! I'm going to go and check my coupon, which is coming in. Catchies!
Keeps clear. Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the InfoWars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Keeps clips.
So good.
Keeps clips.
And remember, citizens, the only way to survive and thrive is to subscribe and hit the bell. Oh, well. 1995. Keep you all out of hell. Cheers.